Wow, this is our boxwood jungle. And as many of you might know, boxwoods get really big. Before you know it, they're, 7, 8 feet tall. Maybe you started out with the little baby boxwood. And by the time we realize we need to do something, it requires drastic pruning. Now, what happens when boxwoods are really close together, you can see inside here that they start losing their foliage and some of the branches internally die back. What you really want is foliage on the inside of this boxwood. Now, this boxwood has covered the windows and it's not letting the light in this bedroom window. So what I need to do is cut it back. During the end of March, I would have cut this a lot harder than what I'm going to show you today. What many of us do, normal boxwood pruning, is you just come in here with your shears and you sort of thin it out. So you come in like this, and you're going to take this branch out like this. Then you might come in here and take this branch out like this. And what you're doing is opening it up to allow light to get in. And there's a lot of dormant basal shoots that are all up and down the stems. But since this boxwood is so overgrown, you have a bad day and you want to get a lot of frustrations out, take it out on your plants. So you can use automatic shears, electric shears, but they tend sometimes to leave jagged cuts. I like to get my work out using this, so I'm going to come in and start pruning from the side. Now you're going to think this is really drastic and that I'm hurting the plant. But in all honesty, I am helping this plant. And you just work your way around. And it really is a good workout. And sometimes you find some of the branches are really kind of loose and wispy, which makes them a little more prone to, if you live in an area with ice and snow, some damage. But this really helps the plant. And if you look here, here's a shoot. And these shoots right here are going to start breaking into new growth. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is, this is way too tall. And light and breeze cannot get through the windows. So I'm going to come in. And I will say, with all the boxwoods we have here, and we have them all over our farm here in Fishersville, Virginia, that we've had about a 99.9% success rate on pruning, where these boxwoods have come back better than ever. And I will tell you, in 3 years, you probably won't even notice that you prune this. going to get this one. Now you can see me through the boxwood forest. Keep in mind, the latter part of March in most cases, or late winter, you can cut these even harder if you'd like. But during later in the season, I only like to cut them like this. Some of these branches may die back, so throughout the year you can remove them. But this plant is going to look fantastic by next year and the year after. I realized yesterday I had not cut this boxwood hard enough because they're going to grow so quick, and compared to this one right here behind it, in 2 years it's going to look like that again. So what I'm going to do is take it down further. If you take it down too much in the beginning, you can't fix it. It's too late. You can't put the branches back together. So sometimes I like to start and then continue to work on it and trim it. The loppers are great. And if you see any dead wood in the center of it, take it out. So, as I come over here, it's pretty easy with the loppers, but I find that there's a few branches that would benefit from a handsaw. I have to tell you, try to get a high quality handsaw. You can get them resharpened. They sharpen them up to 3 different angles, but I usually just come in and notch the back a little bit and just very gently. You don't push hard. And so here I'm going to do the same thing. And you get to the end, just gently, so you get a nice, and sometimes I'll come in and make sure it's a nice, smooth cut. These saws come in either a fine tooth or a coarse tooth. So if you have both, you'll know which one you want to use. Then I'm going to come in with the hand shears and prune the little ones. Now you can see, if you look closely, remember, this was as tall as the saw. It was another 4 feet. So, as you can see, there are basal buds all in here. Now, you don't even see the basal buds. There's so many buds that are what we call dormant buds. They just sit and wait till they need to grow. So in about a month, this whole boxwood will produce new growth up and down all these stems. Now, where you don't see growth and you think the branch is dead, you can go ahead and remove that throughout the summer months. But I'm going to come in here, do a little more pruning. And as you can see, that's a mistake. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to recut it. You really want nice, smooth cuts. and just work your way around. I see a dead branch right here. You really want to try to remove those dead branches. And you can see it's dead right there. So you want to remove that. And I'm sure, and there's other dead branches throughout here. The dead branches tend to be difficult to cut through. They're not easy. Where the nice green branches, it's almost like cutting through butter. But the dead branches are like cutting through frozen butter. And then you just clean it up, work your way down, get rid of all the branches. Because we have two choices on plants like this. Some people will come in and say to somebody that's going to do the work for them, that plant's too big. Rip it out, tear it out. And I want a nice little plant. Well, you can accomplish that by pruning it. Because remember, the root system from the center of this plant is going out 6 feet. It's going all the way toward the brick on the house. So you've got that phenomenal root system, and that root system is going to make all these buds break. As I've mentioned before, if you're going to prune it harder, like if you wanted to prune it down into here, my recommendation to do that would be the late winter or very early spring. But, you know, you'll come back in 2 months and you're going to go, wow, I wish I did that 5 years ago. This boxwood's about 9 feet tall. It was planted at the same time as this boxwood right here to my right. 3 months ago, 4 months ago, probably latter part of March, I wanted to show a difference on how you can prune them. This is getting big. It's starting to block the door. By next year, you're going to have to walk through the boxwood to get to the door. So if you look right here, latter part of March, I pruned it to this height. Look how beautiful it has come back. And wait till next year. And then from that point on, you're going to want to hand prune them and keep them smaller. You really don't want to let them do this. A lot of us will prune 5 years later. Oh, wow, I forgot. But if you maintain boxwoods, you can keep them this height. But severe pruning on most boxwoods is a benefit for them. And this boxwood was coming out here, blocking the door. Now we can get inside this storage building.